Hello, guys. I'm aware that it's been a long time since we've last talked, and I'm incredibly sorry about that. Let me find something to prop my iPad on top of. So, um, yep, it's been quite a long time. And the truth of the matter is, I didn't want for it to be such a long time. Well, my friend just joined me on Roblox, and you might be thinking, why am I playing Roblox, right? I'm playing a fishing game in Roblox because I don't know what kind of detour I was gonna go on about, but I'm trying to hunt Moby Dick in Roblox. And okay, this is the state of me, guys. This is a bit of a tragedy, but yeah. On the topic of that, there's a thing that I want to talk to you about. Of course, Moby Dick is a fictional character, right? And I really like fictional things. I think this is the most boring angle of my room, because my room looks like this. I'm really happy about how it looks. As you guys probably know, because I like to brag about this. Look at this. Like, that's pretty incredible, no? If you go to look outside, I'll show you the state of my plants. I was going to upload some few other videos, but I kind of scrapped them. Because I was thinking, yeah, of course, that I've been a bit lackluster on my upload schedule. This is the... Look! There are 3 rabbits! Whee! Look at them. Isn't that cute? This is a cute-ass room, no? I mean, just this section alone gives it a lot of personality, I'd say. And now, here... I don't want to go outside right now, never mind. These are my plants. These are the current state of my plants. Look at them! Okay, let me wear my things first. So, this guy is okay, I guess. A new. I can't speak properly again. Really, a new flower, a new thing, This guy just bloomed, right? And in the past, we've had a few blooms, which were should just like settle it down, which were sort of. I should sit actually, which were sort of okay, but they didn't. Only like we had 3 blooms in the past. The first one was already dead on arrival. Because that was since when have I actually like told you about my flowers? So the story behind it, because I'm getting a little bit confused myself, because I actually recorded a video of me right here at sunset telling you a story that I wrote a while ago with my flowers. So I'm kind of getting deja vu a little. And basically, my mom got these flowers. She got like 8 in total, and she gave me 4. And the other 4 are with her. So this guy, there was one that at the time she gave these to me. One, there was already a bloom here, but it was in pretty bad shape. So to quickly with plants, I've come to find out that in propagating means enforcing the growth of them. Just sit here. You are supposed to you don't have to be that gentle, because they are really good at survival. They are kind of ass. They are really bad at some things, but they're also really good at some things. If you cut them, then, especially for these are called Sylvias. They are a type of mint. If you cut cut them at the place where their flowers grow, like around here if I were to cut, or hope you can't see them. So if you were to cut these at the places where their flowers grow, but not to the base of them, you would be essentially reinforcing growth. You see right here? Like, I would make an incision right here if I wanted to make it grow further. So it's kind of like a hydra. If I cut here, exactly here, right, then there will be two more shoots that, like, growths that come out of the side, like this and this, when this is gone. Yeah, imagine that. So they're pretty tough things, my cute little babies, right? But they are really weak and susceptible to some other things, like plants, insects, whatever. So I had to mix up a concoction from Home Pro, which is like Home Depot in Thailand, and it's a solution that's currently sitting in there with all my washing reagents, washing solution. I don't know what you call it. I'm kind of brain dead right now. But yeah, the first few months I used that to eliminate some. I just sprayed it all over these. But you even then you have to be careful with that. There's precautions you have to take everywhere with plants, because even though they're durable, they're incredibly stupid as well. These guys, like, they have the first few weeks I had them, they had 4 different conditions. They had like fucking, I don't know, their leaves were going insane, and there were 10 million mites and shit. And I had to get my basically poison and spray it all over them. So that was a crazy experience. But right now, they look pretty good, no? This is the kind of balcony I would die for. And don't mind the pieces of paper. At first they were there for like some transient shade. In this case, what I'm trying to say is I was trying to make some artificial shade for them, because I was worried that the sun was too hot for them, which is probably not true. And then they were weathered by the rain, blah blah blah, and I just didn't really want to remove them. So there they remain, withered and husks of themselves. And that might just be a synopsis of me, quite wonderfully. So now we are back in my room, and I have told you about where I've been and the state of my room in the past 3 months? I'm not sure. Oh my god, I should find a better view, because this is obviously ass, right? If it were this way, facing this way, that would be good as well. Maybe I could just put it here. Oh shit, I'm sorry. Maybe I could just put it here, or because this would be facing that way, and if I put it here, it will be facing like this, right? But that's boring. Don't mind the shirt that's on there. What should I do? Maybe here. Story time with me. Nah, that's terrible. The lighting is terrible. Oh my god. Oh, I really have to do it facing here again, huh? Okay, so I'll move my mouse this way. And that should work. Okay. Sorry about that. Remember to constantly hydrate yourself, guys, for best quality of life. And now onto the meat of this video. I was gonna talk about my hurdles as an up and coming writer. That's right, guys. Your boy, will be a writer I will be a future Hugo Award winner in 2030. Mark my words. You'll see my name alongside New York Times bestseller. well, like 500 million books have New York Times bestseller on them, so not like it matters. But there are actually quite a few problems I've found with writing and publishing a book, which maybe this serves as both a warning to you who might be interested in something like that, and just me telling my a story as of current. So I was thinking, as a person, I like to. It sounds kind of. It is. Oh my god, I can't think. It is counterintuitive. It is, yeah, contradictory is the word I'm looking for. It's a bit contradictory because I want to be lazy and free and sleep on my bed all day because I'm just some soft boy that gets headaches when confronted with lines of text like the Great Wall of China, but for studies, right? Yeah. But at the same time, I kind of, it's weird to admit to this, but I kind of like high pressure situations, though it's kind of bad for my heart. Like, one of the most prominent things I can think of is being busy with many different things you have to attend to. Like when you talk to someone and you're like, oh, I have this, that, a billion things. Like, people want you there, this, that, all of that, right? It's a cool feeling. It's like you're kind of a star or something like that. But not really. You're the star of your own world. You feel like you have places to be, people to talk to, and activities that require your attendance. So, in that vein, I thought to myself, I would like to have some things that I partake in. Like, it would be good if I could practice music, or alongside with that, when I thought about this, I thought about it in avenues to earn money. So it was gonna be writing and possibly like making shirt designs or something. What the fuck is wrong with this piece of hair? Holy okay, so it was gonna be writing, and then I actually kind of wanted to make some shirt designs or whatever, because although I'm ass at art, I feel like so many shirt designs are like so fucking boring or whatever, right? And like, for example, I would not know where I could get a shirt that has a big ass cropped picture of cat that says I am addicted to drugs or something like that in a high enough quality, or just some genuinely cool designs that aren't too overboard and edgy, and not something that like the punk rock population would wear, but a normal person that might have an interest in fashion would wear. Because I feel like when you bring up people that have interest in fashion, nowadays you have these people that basically they think they are high art. When you say interest in fashion, they have to wear these, they would think it's extravagant, but too over the board kinds of weird ass accessories and ripped and jeans that are ripped from the inside but have another layer on the inside and all that crazy shit. Just like some stylistic things that look cool for the average person that doesn't think they are a saint of high art. You know? Things that I think I would like, and other normal people that don't hold themselves to such a high regard would like. And I was thinking that there should be like 3 avenues to make money. So writing, that, and another thing. But the other thing would probably be later. And I just realized that my computer is probably making a really loud buzzing sound. Let me just turn that off, actually. I am sorry about that. I do not have like QC in my video quality checks. I mean, I don't have any of that in my videos at all. So I think it's a part of the appeal. It's kind of scuffed, right? And isn't that nice? But yeah, that was what I was talking about. And I have to loop back to the thing that I was initially talking about. Oh my god. So I was going to talk about books, but I ended up doing a 15-minute rant into some abysmal shit, whatever. State of my life, whatever, right? But you're going to care because this is my channel and this is my life. And I have a story to tell. And now on to my fictional story. Okay, so the first problem with writing a book that I actually encountered was, funnily enough, finding a plot that is serviceable, because I myself have some ideas sometimes. You call it streaks of genius, whatever, when you're in the shower and you think of something, so you just write it down in your notes app, you come back to it later. I have those kinds of things semi-regularly, I guess, but only some are good, right? So let me pull up Google Docs real quick on my phone because I'm using my iPad to record. Sorry about this. Okay, so this is the current state of affairs. I have a document that is just some interesting things ideas I might want to write about. So the first one is, girl is intergalactic council member, guy is some dude who's a hero on his planet. The Blackfire Robin dynamic. Okay. The next one is situationship, last day at grocery store, parking lot, cars pulling out one by one, scenic ass purple pink sky, American dreaming. This is more of like those short stories that I just write to myself in fucking Google Docs, yeah. Not really intended to be something for a book, right? And now this one I find particularly interesting. Reaches of the stars. A proposal on a civilization that could see further. In this case, see further, what I was trying to think about was like, the main idea was just something, a small thing, basically butterfly effect, a small thing that deviates in alien life that allows them to be exponentially maybe different, maybe even just better than us. So this was going to be a proposal on a civilization that could see further, just their sight. And I thought, like, when looking at the night sky, they could see galaxies with their naked eyes. And they evolved knowing that there was hope wherever they looked. And so with that, they just have an entirely different outlook. They aren't as much cynics as us. And so they evolved with a much higher capacity for love, compassion, and they have a very advanced society, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then, you can, of course, you have their discourse with humans when they do interact, whatever. Next one is Finger Gun Hitman. This is some short story I'll just write for myself as well. I've written a bit about this one. The Finger Gun Hitman, I propose, would be cyberpunk setting, because I like cyberpunk settings, and this guy is like, it's the 30th century, right? So we'll put a twist on this, which is he's evolved in this setting, the cyberpunk future, the 30th century, with an abundance of kinetic energy inside of himself, and so he is able to release it when he props up his fingers like this, and he is the best assassin ever because there's no trace. But the beginning of the story, because it's would be a short story, like literally 10 pages or something, it's just him assassinating what I call a love dealer, which is a concept. I have concepts from stories that I write that I'm intrigued in and would actually like to incorporate into a more into a piece of work that I would actually like to publish. Like in this instance, I have what I call a love dealer, which is, since people in this day and age are so fucking jaded, right? It's a dystopia, obviously. They don't deal in drugs, they deal in love. They deal in the most pure and kindest of love, because the higher ups, their receptors are so fried that nothing works for them. Only the purest of love. So I thought that was a cool idea, because in an instant it establishes how far gone this society is, right? And I think a really important part of writing good dystopias is for you to see and feel how cultures are slightly different, but in a really dark and cold, apathetic way. Okay, so that was that. And for this story, I was gonna have him assassinate one of the 3 love dealers, and the higher ups, everyone in the world would just be after him or something. And he does this because he has a certain vendetta, or he has some like stroke of understanding where, oh shit, this society is so deranged, blah blah blah, I will be the hero, I will be the one to change that. But he does nothing, and actually killing this person makes it significantly worse, and the world descends into absolute destruction even after his death, something like that. Something really cynical, because it's a dystopian story. And now the one I'm currently thinking about writing is a future where literally everything can be defined by numbers, and even heart. Heart in this case is like how much heart you have, the fire burning inside of you, motivation to do something, how much heart you have. Even that can be defined by numbers. So there's a constant like race, kind of a race to find something that can't be defined by numbers, the penultimate truth, something like that, something that is beyond numbers. And I was thinking about this idea, right? And I was thinking that I would have these factions, these cultures that are their own representative parts of the world. What I mean by this is have a future far into the future, of course, like 30th century, something like that, because I like future dystopias really much. And I have this thing about thought, because we're so far into the future that everyone has their own schools of thought that they relate to, these big houses of thought, and they act appropriately. They go into their own cultures and have their own people they correlate with. These are like sub-factions of the world. Like, I'll have people dressed in one culture be like people dressed in Greek robes obsessed with mathematics, and a steampunk society, and all that good shit. Like, different cultures, what people believe is the best, what they resonate with most deeply, things like that like would look cool in a setting together. You know what I mean? Like, imagine these Greek architects in a cyberpunk setting, people dressed in like those white robes with laurels on their hair, just hashing it out with these higher corporate Slavs on a high dark red skyscraper surrounded by rain. That sounds so fucking cool, you know? Okay. And so I'll have these different factions and whatnot, what you may have it be. And then I will have to have an antagonist, obviously. The protagonist, oh my god, I haven't even explained the protagonist. The protagonist will be some guy that's trying to be a writer, an up-and-coming writer, or maybe a journalist. My consensus on this guy is not that clear yet, but I will want him to have a motivation of good. In this case, that would be uniting these schools of thought, because I was thinking just now, like just today, I was lying in my bed and I was thinking, oh, I write a book. I should have an interesting conflict, because how do you have a book without an interesting conflict? And I was like, oh, we have these different cultures from around the world. Now, because there are schools of thought, let's have them participate in a thought war. In this future century, you don't fight traditional wars anymore. You have wars on thought, right? The correct way to think. They are finding the correct way to think. They are trying to find a theory of everything, but for thought. Now then, I was thinking, okay, theory of everything. Then what about a theory for everything in science? Now that ties into the antagonist that I have. Now, the theory of everything on science has been found by this scientist guy. And there's only one scientist, which is strange, right? But I will have it be that this guy is just so generationally above all other scientists, and he defeated all the other scientists in a science war 500 years ago, and he's the only science guy in the entire world. All the science people before, they now subscribe to their own different schools of thought, blah blah blah, because it's just useless to have another scientist at this point when you have literally the second coming of Albert Einstein, right? And this dude will be a chill guy. He represents science, and he's gonna be like friends with our with our protagonist. He doesn't even have to be friends, just cordial with the protagonist. And I'm intending for them to have like a meeting just a general meeting with both the scientists and the other schools of thought in just one big assembly hall in a skyscraper, because it's a cyberpunk dystopian future. And then they meet again. They actually have a private conversation at the end, and then some reveals happen. But before we talk about the reveals, we have to talk about the character. So now this guy is the supreme leading scientist, and he now has a theory of everything. So he's the lead of this project, and he's trusted by everyone because obviously he's the elite scientist. And he's getting people to work on implementing this theory of everything in such a way that it benefits humanity. So we're having new infrastructure arranged, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. But the scientist, his title, who will be known as the Paper Lord. And here comes my own likings and preferences. So you might know that I have a preference for paper folding, and I really like this idea. So the scientist will be really into paper folding, and he'll be the best at it. And eventually, I don't know how, but we're going to reach a scene. Maybe he's just like some lonely guy, but he's going to have his own kind of like dimension, some part of the world where everything is faded and like things phase in and out of reality, like some cool science-y setting. And in this plane of existence, there's everything. It's just like a stairway. So the world is here, then you have just a stairway that leads into space or something of that sort, but some kind of cosmic themed thingy place. And this dimension is made of paper constructs. So this guy literally folds an entire dimension for himself. And it's gonna be real cool. It's gonna be like Dr. Seuss architecture. If you don't know what that kind of thing is, let me pull it up for you. Dr. Seuss architecture. If you have ever seen that, it's a really, really cool thing. Kind of like this. This was my childhood, by the way. Like, looking at this is like the image I want to evoke. It's really cool. something like that, but just made entirely out of paper. And paper can be all different colors, whatever, but it will be just some scientist that has a hobby, and that is paper folding, and he can use it practically. He makes his entire dimension out of paper, and we don't know why, but we think that it's probably because he has a preference for paper. And that might be the reason, but I was going to write something because I have to make this guy the antagonist, right? And so this guy might be some kind of deity of a long lost civilization that's just floating through space and trying to find a new place to live in. Or I could make another motivation of his possibly be that he doesn't want to die. He wants to still be young, so he kind of acts like a vampire. But in this case, his blood, get this, because vampires suck blood, right? In this case, he sucks information. How cool is that? So this guy, he writes on paper because even though this is in the far future, he's a bit archaic himself, right? So he prefers paper over methods of carrying information like technology. And paper is barely used by anyone in this day and age except him. But his paper is an art form, right? But when we have a talk between this guy and basically the protagonist and antagonist have a confrontation one-on-one at the end, the antagonist, which is this science paper lord guy, he's gonna reveal to the protagonist that the reason he uses paper kind of like this is because it carries information. And you'll notice that all the pieces of paper that he uses are blank. He's feeding off the information that humans generate. And that might be the leading source of conflict in why the schools of thought can't seem to agree with each other. And this is one aspect I forgot to explain, I'm sorry. But the schools of thought, I kind of explained it, but not thoroughly, right? The schools of thought, the factions out there that are trying to come to an agreement, they can't come to agreement because what they assume to be like small differences in little aspects of thought. They can't come to a civilized agreement, a ceasefire, because there are these subtle, small differences that they can agree on, which prevents them from coming together, all of the schools of thought, to come together and make a theory of everything for thought, for the human imagination. But we find out that maybe that is because that might be a message on how humans in this day and age, right? Because I have to give a message that pertains to human society, because that would just be a good thing to have. Maybe that is the result of the human condition, or maybe have this antagonist play a larger hand in this. Maybe the reason they can't agree is because he is eating away, he's gnawing away at information to continue to be young. And the reason he wants to be young is because he can't imagine himself growing older and not being able to partake in young people things, like going out to the club, partying, going on trips as a young person, skiing without your bones breaking, and seeing beautiful women, something like that. This might come from a place of my own longing. I think that is a good motivating factor for a protagonist. I think that sounds very good. A vampire that feeds, an alien vampire that feeds on information. This is a hurdle that is hard, right? The entire thing, what I've described, is the plot of my story, but it's been pretty hard to come to this because nothing is original. Maybe some other writer has had this idea already, though I think it's pretty original. I hope so. So you just have to find the best way to convey this, your idea of a plot, to your audience. And I'm not particularly confident because this writing, the pieces of work that I take inspiration from are like from 1964 to 1980, something like that, because I read Philip K. Dick, old sci-fi, right? It may still be pertinent in nowadays issues, but I don't know, maybe I should just be a book talk writer. Should write like gay romance couples in a dystopian setting. Maybe that will be my twist on it. Just gay couples in a cyberpunk setting. Yeah. I don't know if it'll work. I'm not like quite confident. And then the second hurdle is the process is also so tedious. When you already have a book established and whatnot, you also have to go through the process of publishing the book itself, right? And I don't know how it works in Thailand specifically, because Thai forums are ass. There's like one particular site called Pantip that is basically forum, right? Reddit for Thailand, but it's dead and no one uses it. And that's the only place where I see people having discussions about publishing books, but all of the relevant information is 12 years old because no one uses it and it's dead. And Thailand is probably different from, say, America. And of course, when I do intend to publish a book, I will have to go to the agencies, blah, 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 and see if the correct information lines up with what I assume I've had to do based on reading American forums. But in these like American forums, what they say is, or just like the West's forums, you go to, you first, you have your book, the materials, contents of your book completed, and you might also make the cover of the book and format it, though making the cover of the book and formatting it can be sorted out later. But you might or might not have what you call a literary agent. So you go up to someone and you ask them to be your literary agent, and then they examine the contents of your book and see if, oh, this guy is worth being a literary agent for. And so then you have your literary agent, and the agent goes to contact these agencies for you. According to what you like, you have to work with them because they're an agent for you, a representative. Or you could do this on your own, which may be a little troublesome. But now you get into the problem of agencies. So you want to publish your book, but how do you publish your book? There are these publishing presses, publishing companies that you go to. They're categorized into 3 different types: big, medium, and small, funnily enough. But the big publishing companies, okay, let's start with small publishing companies. So small companies are just small companies that will publish your book for you. If you think about it in a chart, the varying things are control of the contents of your book, and the second one is public recognition, and the third is the amount you have to pay. Okay, so for small publishing presses, the recognition you will get for your book is little. You will have your book that is published, and it might go on some dainty small bookstore in some rare obscure place that no one knows about, so that sucks. But the benefit is you will have your book, which is published, and it will be done for a marginally smaller price, and you will have almost absolute control of the contents of the book itself. as we move along the scale, we get to the medium publishing presses. And here, you go to a publishing press that will get you into some small but actual bookstores, and you'll have to pay a medium price, of course, because it's medium, and then the amount of control you get about the contents of the book is proportional. I inversely proportional, yeah. So you will have a medium amount of control about the contents of the book. Some editors that look at your book might ask you to change some things, and that sucks. But you have to do it for people to recognize your name. In Thailand, maybe this kind of medium publishing press will get you into CED, if that's comparable from what I've read, something like that. But the last stage is a big is a big publishing press, and your book will go into big bookstores, like in Thailand, maybe Kinokuniya, something like that. Actual genuine bookstore that people will have access to and may actually read your book, but you will have to pay a large fee, and as you expected, the control over the contents you have in your book will be really small. They might look at your book, and since, like for example, in my case, you are just a writer starting out. If you're Stephen King, that's a different story, I presume, but you're a small writer starting out, and you will be forced to change a lot of things of the contents of the book. So now it's not really your book anymore, just a soulless husk, but you have to do it for your name to be spread out there, right? And the part that sucks about this is I want my first book to be a bang, like a banger, a sensation, right? I want it to have all the parts of me that I intend to write, and the story be just me. But with a big publishing press, they will force you to change a lot of things. So it won't be me, it'll just be some like soulless industry husk. And that's not what I want. But then you would say, oh, then just write some lame ass story just to get your name out there. I don't want that to be my first book. I want all my books to have a part of me, to have me as an essence, to have me as a writer in them. And it would be a shame to just have a book which is just like tampered by the industry just to get my name out there. And then my name will be associated with a book that is not even to my liking, that is changed so much that it doesn't fit my vision. And then people that might come to read my later books might expect a different thing. So there's all these loops and tunnels, which is so disheartening, actually, because I just want to write a book with my own talent and my own vision and get it out there and then see if people like it. But you can't do that with a big publishing press. You can't. So I don't even know what I'm writing for. And I want to be a writer, but I don't want to throw away my first idea at the very least, just my first few ideas for some book that essentially won't be mine. It'll be the industry's. And what does it matter at that point? If it's not my book, if it's not my vision, if it's not my dream, if it's not my passion that leads me to becoming a writer with a recognizable name. I will have to throw myself into the ringer for like 2-3 years to publish my first book, and it's essentially not going to be me as the author of the book. Oh, how stupid is that? This is like, it's like so many flaws out there, you know, that prevent people with that prevent people to come up with great stuff or whatever. Like, imagine if the templates of writing a paper weren't so tedious. I bet there would be like 20 different people, 20% more people popping up trying to be researchers if they were more laxed about the format of writing a paper. Like, Einstein referred to himself as I in his papers. But I mean, he's Einstein, right? He can do that because he's Einstein. But that just gave me the thought that, oh my God, imagine if scientists were more lax about writing papers, and you don't have to follow 10 regulations on sightings or ridiculous bullshit. I mean, it does make sense. It helps you organize. It helps you make your experiments replicable to other fellow scientists. But there's a tedious amount of, I'm thinking of the term red tape, of corporate bullshit that goes into everything nowadays. As we advance further as a society, there's more of a performative thing to everything that prevents us from advancing further. We should just cut all of this off. If we go to my plants as an example, if you want to have more growth, you need to cut the things that are dysfunctional off so that further energy can be invested into things that actually matter. And I want to write about these societal issues in my books, but my books will have problems with fucking being published, and so on and so forth. And we have the endless coagulating mass of terrible tragedies and horrors and obscenities. That is humanity. There we have it. This beautiful mess which connects us all. That is the art of being human, accepting that there are flaws that you cannot change, but you are able to dream. Maybe you'll be one of those lucky few that get to change the system, bring about better days, and be recognized for it. And even then, if you're recognized for it, or recognized for anything in that matter, you either take two routes that are possible for you in the future. One is you're a nice person and you get harassed by everyone and have death threats or whatever. Or two, you're a pedophile. You're literally, I'm not going to censor this because I'm not gonna get famous right now, but you're a pedophile. When you're famous, you either are a good person or just like a normal person or a bad person. But you get harassed your entire life. You have no agency whatsoever. Fans talk whatever they want about you. That's disheartening, but you have to accept it because you're famous. You automatically have to accept being the laughingstock of whoever. Or you're a pedophile! Everyone is literally a pedophile! Why is everyone a pedophile? I don't understand. Life imitates art. And you know what art imitates? Art imitates me! I am the shaper of a brighter tomorrow. And I will have you remember that when you are sitting there with your family and children and you're reading my book and you're like, wow, this guy's amazing! I should recommend him to everyone I know. And yes, that guy is amazing. So you should recommend my books to everyone you know. And that's my thesis. Thank you all for listening, guys. And why is this so difficult? I just want to write my story and get my story out there. Why does it have to be changed? I don't understand why if it's okay, if it's a failure, right? If you are investing your time, maybe the thought process behind these agencies is you're investing your time into publishing your book, and you're a big talent agency, so you don't want that time to be wasted. Well, if it's wasted, then I mean, just like let that shit go. The book writer himself is gonna, him or herself or themself is gonna die and struggle forever, right? And these big publishing companies, and you can't say that they want to turn a profit on all books, because you go to a bookstore and not all books are famous or good. There are plenty of books that are pretty shit. But I guess it all comes down to the struggle of being human. If you read my book and it's drastically changed from what I just described earlier, just know that it's a part of this hedonistic world of dystopic self-developments that we fall into one at a time. It's a part of the natural cycle. And I should get back to fishing for Moby Dicks in Roblox. I find it so hard to make a genuine human connection, you know. Recently Invincible Season 3 came out, and I was watching the final episode of it. The entire season was pretty ass. I think I'm having a big falling out with this, and I don't understand people that praise everything like this. There's like, okay, let's talk about Invincible. I was just gonna end the video, but let's talk about Invincible for like 5 minutes. The White Room is a cool ass concept. It was executed really well in animation. And then you have fucking Oliver. I hate this kid. It's like every generic kid, run away from mommy, go save. And the writers want to tell you that there's some kind of progression by having Mark's mother, I forget her name, let him go out in the final battle against Conquest to help Mark. There's no progression. It's ridiculous. It's the same shit every time. This kid goes out, gets beaten to a fucking pulp. So fucking boring. And I imagine that, and I don't remember if it felt different in the first seasons, but I'm starting to feel like Mark is a loser himself too. In matter of fact, I think all these characters that are fodder are so bad. Adam Eve is so bad. She goes along, she gets pummeled into the dirt and is nuisance to Mark that weighs him down until she gets her power up. I don't think that's all too good, you know? And I know that, of course, if I do get famous, this will be used against me as criticism for my own writing. Oh, how have you criticized blah blah blah, but you can't write a competent villain to save your life? Not to say that I'm not confident that I can write a good villain to save my life, but I may have some shortcomings. Why don't people just be normal? Why is everyone always out to get someone, you know? Like with Korean idols. I'm so tilted, man. Every little thing. They can't even live. They can't have relationships. And there's always snark about things like this. Does snark stand for snide remarks? But there's always something. You can't live. You're praised as a god, and the next second everyone is turning on you because they can't accept that you're not actually God and you're not perfect and you're human just like them. That is a terrible thing. I would never want to be a K-pop idol. And I don't understand where so many of these lunatics come from that obsess over a person online. Where do so many of these freaks come from? Why can't we be normal? Why can't we be civilized and let people have their lives? I don't understand. Where are all these freaks raised from? I like K-pop idols, and I like normal people. I like when we can appreciate an art form. I don't like threatening and harassing and criticizing every aspect of these people's lives. I genuinely cannot comprehend this. No. It's kind of ridiculous. And it saddens me so much. As a society, surely. And I'm not saying that these Korean idols are perfect. They have their own falling outs with agencies. Maybe their talent managers are corrupt. Maybe they themselves are corrupt. But surely, shouldn't it be that they don't get death threats or whatever, or that they can be normal corrupt people in the shadows? Or man, I just don't get many things about this life, and I'm not going to pretend like I do. I'm just going to go write some small pieces of commentary and pretend to myself that I'm a competent writer. And hopefully I can get some small stream of revenue from this. I want to be like one of those artists, not artists, but there's like a basketball player that says that he actually, a famous, like a basketball player in the NBA that says he writes, I don't remember if it's write or sing or rap, right? But one of those things. But he says that is what he wants to be first and foremost. Like, let's pretend that it's rap. I forget the thing that he said, what he said, but he says he does rap, right? And basketball comes second. He's a rapper first and basketball second. I want to have that for me. Whatever I have, other streams of income, maybe I run a business, maybe I'm like some kind of god researcher. I hope to be that. I can only hope that I don't slack away in a corporate setting. That I be known as a writer first. I want to be famous and known for something I love. And I don't see why other people aren't the same. You can spill your heart out to some people and they just won't connect with you because maybe they like the same 10 boring pop artists in circulation in the industry. I don't know. I don't understand. If someone asked me how I was today, I would probably gush on about these things. Whereas with these people... Okay, I'm devolving into a number of self-monologues. I would not want to do this. So, before we go, I want to show you my ring collection. Oh my god, when I move the camera, it's instantly incredibly shitty. I have many Shopee rings, which is like, I don't know what the equivalent for Shopee is in Western society. Maybe Temu, Alibaba, but look at this. Oh my god, my thing can't actually stand by itself. Oh my god. Bro, I'm about to end the video. Can't you just stand for me? So? Okay. I'm just a girl. Oh, it fits on this one actually. I'm just a... That is pretty cool. If I do say so myself. I was going to go on a tirade about mannerisms because I was thinking about... I was going to mention the word girl, but for the sake of my character, let's have a singular video that doesn't devolve into girls at the end. I am a changed man, but I am not. I just want to save my image by not talking about girls for one singular episode. Thank you guys for listening to my struggles as an up-and-coming future Hugo Award winner in 2030. Stay updated on that. My book will be called Papercraft at the End of Time. And the tagline will be, God forbid a scientist have hobbies. The God forbid here is actually foreshadowing that the Paper Lord is something close to God himself. No, there was a plot point that I forgot to expand upon. In Genshin, I'm referencing Genshin lore, but there are genuinely cool pieces of Genshin lore. I haven't stayed updated because I kind of hate Natlan, whatever the fuck that shit is. But there's this nation in the sky that rules over everything silently and very strictly. It's called Celestia. And there are gods that Celestia assigns that watch over 7 gods that watch over 7 nations of the world. And one of these gods, they tricked Celestia in a way that they managed to evade a prophecy and not elicit the wrath of Celestia onto their kingdom. And so I thought this was kind of a cool idea. So what I was gonna have was, if you imagine like calculus, right? If you have a bunch of straight lines and you have them be infinitely small, infinitesimal. Apparently my iPad storage was full, so I had to go ahead and delete some videos just so I could make this short ending sequence. Oh my god. Okay. So back to calculus. If you have a bunch of lines and you make them really small and you arrange them together, you can have shapes, right? So what I was going for was that the Paper Lord guy that literally made his own dimension out of paper, he's going to fool the universe. And I will have it established beforehand that this guy, well, because he's a world famous scientist and for a matter of fact is the only remaining scientist, he proposed the theory that the universe is sentient and acts as and has a will. And I will have that be like a hand-wavy explanation of superposition. So superposition is explained by just, when you see it, the universe wills it to be that way. Something like that. That sounds pretty cool, right? So get this now. I will have some part of his paper dimension, or like maybe he's already taken over the world or something, but some aspect of that will be there's something that the protagonist thinks is real life, but it's actually just an illusion by the Paper Lord, and he accomplishes this by making really small paper things. Really, really small, but up to like smaller than an atom that is made out of paper. But just because of its insane expertise and scientific ability, the universe recognizes that because it's smaller than an atom as an actual thing. And so we have water that doesn't affect paper because the water in actuality is paper itself. Things like that. He's basically tricked the universe into believing that things that he makes is real when it's actually just paper. We can have that extend to even organic things. Maybe all the characters, maybe all the protags, his friends, are paper. Maybe he himself is paper. If I were to extend into this plot more, it would be something along the lines of Ubik or Time Out of Joint, both by Philip K. Dick, of course. Something similar to that, like Reality is a Lie, something like that. Or I could just not expand to that heavily and have it be restricted to some parts, some aspects of his own kingdom. Yeah, that's all I have to say for my ending. Thank you for listening, guys. And I'm aware that it's been a super long time and I have missed you guys a lot. When I was... this video is already really long. Some things have changed and I don't know how I feel about those things. Not everything is beautiful, but you have to accept it as it goes. I am unsure about the method and the path I will take in my life, though I feign to be more competent, more sure of what path I want to traverse. I don't really know myself. I'm really afraid of being 40 years old before I get there, before I finally become a world-class researcher and the leading prospect of the cutting edge of vaccines. If I get there when I'm 40, I don't know if I could live with myself. I don't know if I could live with myself getting to 40. And that'll be reflected in the character I write, of course, right? Because you will have this theme as well. Writing is an art form to express how you feel. Right now, I don't feel particularly good. I miss my friends. I miss my college friends. And that might be a cliffhanger I might explain sometime later. Alright. See you guys, okay? I love you. Whee! I should make a thumbnail. What would be a good thumbnail for an up-and-coming writer? Oh, I noted everything in like Procreate, right? And this is kind of the process I went through. I made different layers and yeah, like this. I write that down. Something like this. And when all of those go together, some crazy blah 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 gibberish. And I've also, the reason I was on Procreate is I've been working on art too, right? This is just some lady that I've been trying to draw. That is me on the balcony. You can't, oh my god, you can't see this shit well at all. You can't even see the lines. Fuck me. Yeah, doesn't matter. Something like that. Yep, that's it for... Okay, I need to make a thumbnail. Bro, why do I get distracted so easily? Thumbnail for a... writer. I have the most... Let's pretend my phone is a piece of paper. I will have to have me smiling and some kind of thing that I can use to write. What should that be? Maybe this like lipstick. You won't get what this is because of the lipstick if you look at the thumbnail. I should have this on just so... Oh my god, bro, why is the side of my head like this? Okay, good, function normally. I look like a demon, bro. I don't know if that'll work. Should I just do like a smile like this? What am I doing? I'm running out of ideas for thumbnails, man. I don't think that any of that was good as a thumbnail. Let's just have it be something random. I don't know. I'm out of ideas. Yeah, I give up. I don't have any ideas. Just maybe that okay. That actually looks good. Wait, let me get this curtain back because it's obscuring the view. Obscuring the view. I can find a better word for that. It's blocking. I give up. I do not have my creative juices today. Okay, so now we have that. Let's get this chair out of the way. Oh my god. I have to make a clickbaity face. What am I doing? Oh my god. I'm going insane. I don't know anymore. Maybe one of those still images will work. Okay guys, this has been me. I'm sorry I've gone missing for quite a long time. I'll see you guys soon, hopefully. Bye bye.